In this episode of Motive Garage, presented by Sparesbox, we assemble the bottom end for JET200's SR20 VE and discuss our plans in 2022.
Well, as you know, we announced earlier in the year that JET200, thanks to Sparesbox, was having its big comeback in 2021. Well, COVID put a stop to that happening to plan. World Time Attack got moved from October 21 to April 2022. Now, you think that would just give us more time to get ready, right? Wrong. We dropped our VE head off at a machine shop just before the COVID lockdown in June, and unfortunately, that machine shop closed down for the entire lockdown period. In fact, we only got our head back last week, and unfortunately, the very same day, Matt flew out to go on holiday. So our head is sitting there at Redsun with nothing we can do about it until the middle of January. Now, we did actually put together the bottom end, or the rotating assembly, at the middle of the year, but didn't release the footage because we were waiting to see when we got the rest of things back. But we are going to show you the bottom end rebuild of JET200's SR20 VE right now. So what's the plan for the start of the year? Well, as soon as we get back into it in middle of January, we should be able to put the head, sump and all of the ancillaries onto the engine in a day. And from there, we can put the whole car back together relatively quickly. Matt and I have put some time aside to try and basically do probably a 5-day cram and try and get the car running in a week. It was a running car before, so it should just go straight back together. In theory, right? Once it's back together, we'll do some development and testing of certain products to get it how we want. But unfortunately, with really hot weather here in January and February, it will be hard to find a track day where we can get out and start testing. So more than likely, it's going to be March testing, World Time Attack April. So let's check out the bottom end build to finish off 2021 with JET200.
Hi, I'm Matt from Redsun Motorsport. Here we have Andrew's engine from JET200. As you've seen, it's already been at Duncan and Foster. You've already seen the parts we're using, so now it's time to run you through the final assembly. We wedge in between the coolant passages, between the bores. That stops it from ever cracking, falling in, and that's usually a big problem, so adding strength there is a major. We also remove the oil squirter with a VE pump. They've been known to push out. You can buy an aftermarket screw-in squirter, but we just like to block them off. And then from there, we get the engine back from the machine shop when it's all done. Then we just go clean it up, we paint it, prep it, and then we're ready to start assembling. Look, as we've touched base on before, some of the caps have M6 holes drilled into them, and a certain horsepower RPM they tend to break. So going to a billet cap stops them breaking, stops walk as well. And the same with the plasma and girdle. It's obviously a better improvement over OEM and ties the block together that much better. So just tried and proven. I've used this over 650 kilowatts, so using a 500 kilowatts is still very safe. Yeah, look, when we get back from the machine shop, we trust them, but we still measure up and record and check everything ourselves. And then we move on to a dummy assembly. We'll do our ring gaps. Once we record everything from there, we'll assemble the engine, strip the engine, clean it all back up, and then go again. Look, we've already done our dummy assemble. I've already checked all the clearances. I'm happy with everything. So I've already done my ring gaps. So we've fully disassembled everything now, and then it's ready to start doing final assembly. All right, I'm gonna strip the girdle and billet caps back off as well, clean all the parts, and install the squirters, install the crankshaft, lock it up, and go from there. Squirter for the piston. So it pressurizes and squirts oil up the side to lubricate the bores for the skirt. Now I'm just cleaning up the crankshaft, getting ready to put the grub screws in and get it in the engine. Newland assembly lube, nothing but the best. So yeah, these are thrust washers. They stop the crankshaft moving too far forward or back, especially under high loads with big heavy clutches. You don't push the crankshaft too far forward. If these wear out, you get a lot of free play forward and back and cause damage. These are set to factory. That's it. No more than 1.5 thou either way. So we're putting the girdle on. Putting it on, it's going to come back off anyway. Going to put it on, tighten it up so it pulls all the caps into place, and they're going to pull back off because I need to reseal the bottom of it. Being a girdle, so I've got to seal both sides. I still want to torque it down before I pull it off, give it that one final check, spin over by hand to make sure nothing's binding, it turns good, and we know we're good to keep going. We're just checking our thrust movement forward and back at the moment with a dial gauge. So we stick it on, we zero it out, and we just go forward and back either way and make sure we're within tolerance on those. Well, I could do it the other way as well, but I'm going to throw the pistons in, torque it up to the crankshaft, pull the girdle off as well, then it's all done, caps are held in, and then I can obviously put the oil pump on because the girdle needs to be sealed with the oil pump on there, and then I don't have to pull off again after that either. Oh yeah, I have my own ring gaps that I like to use, that I've used in the past and I know works. But yeah, as soon as you get them, you have to do ring gaps on all of them. Measure them because each piston application needs them done. Oh yeah, something I just wanted to touch base on, obviously when I was putting the piston to show you guys, is I had gotten engines from previous people that have already been broken, lost oil pressure, and that's due to the piston being installed the wrong way. There is a cutout for the oil squirter on one side of the piston, so as long as you get that in the right way, it won't break the squirter off and you won't lose oil pressure of that cylinder. Now I've undone these, I've got to tighten them back up to make sure they're in the right spot, because once you loosen them, it turns the bolt. Yeah, we need the oil pump and the rear main carrier on to bolt the girdle on to seal it completely. So you've got to elastic it, bolt it down, as well torque it back up, and then it's got goo. So if this is not on, it's all going to leak if you do it afterwards. So yeah, what I'm doing now is I'm tightening the girdle down with my own bolts, not the ones that came with it. So that way it pulls tight, or the silicone actually seals to the girdle, while I spend time fitting the pickup and the rest of the stuff. So that way it doesn't just go off with it sitting a little bit higher and then leak.